Welcome back to my journey of the artist way. It's been a while. This journey was supposed to be a 12-week program to unblock my creativity and to learn what it is like to live from inspiration. But I think I'm on month 3 or 4 now, and I'm still intending to finish it. And I'd love to do this before the end of October because my life is gonna change completely because I'm moving to Australia. And this has been my childhood dream. I don't know why, but it's calling me. So I'm finally leaving, and I'm taking with me all of the lessons learned from the book The Artist's Way as well. I'll keep on creating, which I've done over the past couple of weeks and months as well. I think I'll find out along the way how I want to use my YouTube channel. But first things first, I'll take you along on chapter 10, Recovering a Sense of Self-Protection. This week we explore the perils that can ambush us on our creative paths. Because creativity is a spiritual issue, many of the perils are spiritual perils. In the essays, tasks, and exercises of this week, we reach out the toxic patterns we cling to that block our creative flow. This is a nice subject. As I have mentioned in other videos, I have dealt with a lot of addictions. And sometimes wanting to use vices that are unhealthy for me, they still creep up. And I think this month they have been on my mind as well, as it is really exciting but nerve-wracking how much change I will fall into at the end of this month. Everything I've ever known, I'm letting go of everything I've ever known, and everyone I know loves me and who I love back. And it just brings a lot of feelings along as well. And when it feels overwhelming, or sometimes when it feels too much, we tend to try to run away from our feelings, right? And from my teenage years on, I learned to cope with those feelings through a lot of bad vices. So it's nice to become aware of my own toxic patterns and then consciously choose differently. So let's get into it. It was Albert Einstein who said, "In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity." And let's just talk about maybe scary or exciting or nerve-wracking emotions that I am experiencing right now. It feels difficult to have to deal with the loss that is coming up, the grief I will feel of not having my loved ones around me. So this seems like a difficult period, a difficult situation in my life. Of course, I choose it consciously because it's more difficult for me to not go to Australia than go. Within this, feeling all those emotions and it being difficult, there is opportunity, as feeling through all of these emotions and feeling that I'm gonna miss them truly. The opportunity is to take the time I have left here and spend it with them intentionally, instead of grasping to vices I've used in the past, like smoking weed and numbing myself so I don't have to feel how nervous I am about it all. Within the middle of this difficulty, the opportunity it gives me is that I can feel through all of the emotions in my body still. So I deal with abandonment issues as well. I think a lot of us deal with this problem. The fear of being abandoned, the fear of people not needing me. The opportunity that lies within this is being able to experience the fact that People will still love me and see me as worthy even though I'm not here. Which also hurts, right? people will people will be fine without me. No one needs me, just like I don't need them all of the time. It is good and so loving to be supportive of each other. But my worth isn't tied to what I am for other people, and I'm truly learning that in this process, both ways. Also, within the healing journey, sometimes I feel like I want to heal faster than I'm supposed to, that I want to call onto feelings that I'm holding on to. But it's not time yet to process them fully. Like sometimes you just can't get to the core of the emotion and you just have to let life experiences unfold it all. Whenever the feelings do come up, that is the opportunity to finally feel through them and release them. It is not something that can be forced. So I'm grateful for all the emotions that come with this journey, as it gives me tons of opportunities to learn a lot from what I am feeling and how that has created my reality over time. And now I can consciously choose what I'll take with me next, or what I or in which ways I want to change my perception on things. We turn to our drug of choice to block our creativity. Whenever we experience the anxiety of our inner emptiness, it takes grace and courage to admit and surrender our blocking devices. Who wants to? Not while they're still working. So they don't work for me anymore. Whenever I do smoke weed, when I feel anxious, I feel even more anxious and paranoid and all over the place. To understand what our toxic patterns are, it is truly important to ask yourself a lot of questions you might not want the answer to. Like, how has dot 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 sabotaged me? Even if it's something you think it's is might be a good thing, like working hard and a lot, and but how could workaholism sabotage you? Because maybe you're too tired to take care of yourself anymore, to do the self-care treatments and to feel like a woman or whatever it is. In every situation there are two sides, and it's important to note both sides, not only look at the positive. That's toxic positivity right there. Know both sides and weigh them off, which one is more important to me. Then you know if a pattern you're in is subconscious and it is actually more toxic for you than it does good. Because as someone who has been addicted to many things, vices and drugs, I can say that at that moment in time I needed it. Literally, I don't know if my body, if I could have handled all of the trauma and the pain of understanding what happened to me in that moment on my own. I wasn't able to express myself. I wasn't able to get support from others and to get a hug from someone. I just wasn't able to receive all of that. And as I wasn't able to, I could not let out all of these emotions, so I had to numb it and I had to block it for me to be able to survive, to make money, to be able to eat, to literal survival tactics. So I don't regret the journey I've been on doing drugs. Of course, I wish I could let my teenage self get some more support, and I wish she would let herself be held, and I wish she could release some of that pain bit by bit, and she did bit by bit. In the moments between blocking it all and doing the drugs, I was able to let pieces of pain out. It wasn't, it just wasn't possible to do it all at once. So at that moment in time, doing the drugs was better for me than to face everything I needed to face. But after some time, after years of doing therapy and of learning about better vices, because that's the thing, I was never taught how to regulate myself, but after a while, cognitively, I knew how to regulate myself. So then every time again, I had to weigh it again. What is better for me right now? Should I do the drug right now? Should I try to express and release my emotions? So you can't really say if it's a good or bad choice, and you can't really put that onto it, as I took care of myself the best I could, and a lot of people out there are too. It's harsh to judge them on the way they cope with their business, as no one really knows what's truly going on inside, and no one knows if they're consciously weighing of what might be good for them. And I think everyone should do this a lot. Not even when you're addicted to shit, or not even when you're going through a healing journey. I think everyone should constantly weigh off the options they have. But that might just be me as a Libra, that I think it is important. It is always fear, often disguised, but always there, that leads us into grabbing for a block. So for me, it was a lot of trauma, but sometimes it's just emptiness. Not knowing how to fill your own cup, not knowing who you are yet, not being able to sit with the unease of being bored, or with the unease of feeling unworthy when you're not productive. Sometimes it's just become a habit to do what we do, right? That's why I'm saying it's always important to reevaluate what choices you make, even though it has worked for years on end for you. You change as a person constantly, so what might have worked in the past might not be working so well right now, and sometimes it's hard to admit to that. Sometimes it's hard to admit we're wrong, but we are wrong all of the time. As multiple truths can exist at once, you're always wrong as well as you're right, so who gives up? Blocking is essentially an issue of faith rather than trust. Our intuition, our talents, our skill, our desire. We fear where our creator is taking us with this creativity. Rather than paint, write, dance, audition, and see where it takes us, we pick up a block. Blocked, we know who and what we are. Unhappy people. Sometimes it feels more comfortable to just know. I think a lot of us are just very uncomfortable in the unknown. It's difficult to not know what's next, to not have grip on what's coming. But if you have true faith in yourself, if you know that you'll be all right no matter what, if you know how to regulate yourself, if anything happens, and if you know who to call or where to find support, then you have all of the faith to even sit in uncertainty. Because even within uncertainty, you're your own building block. The foundation is set in yourself. That's why it's so good and so important to also keep on writing the morning pages. So I have been doing that, even though I haven't really been in this book that much. I have tried to write 3 pages every day. That didn't have to be in the morning for myself. And it truly gives direction. Even though sometimes I write things that are so not important, it clears my mind. And every day again, I know which choices I want to make to be the version of myself I want to be. And that's foundational. Anxiety is fuel. We can use it to write with, paint with, work with. And this is also exactly what Albert Einstein said. Within the difficulty, anxiety, you can use that to your advantage. Most artists have used their emotional world, their emotional turmoil, as muses for their next work. It is fuel when you dare to sit in it. you feel that unease, right? You want to like get it out, you want to release it. And for some people it works to just jump it off, dance it off. For me it works to sing. That's also creating. For other people it is painting. It is always about creating. And that's how you alchemize anything that comes up in your life. But the first thing is you have to dare to sit in it and feel it. It is not asking to be solved, I think. I struggle a lot with that specific thing, that I feel like I need to solve my feelings, but they're not here to be solved, they're here to be felt. I think that is a bit of an attitude we have here in the Western world, that we want to solve a lot of things. And I think it comes from the system we live in, which is patriarchal. And within a patriarchal system, efficiency and being active and productive and capitalism is what's leading. And within this system, emotions are just too chaotic, right? Women are just too chaotic. So a lot of people tend to push away their feelings in order to make it in this system. And I bet burnouts come from this as well. I had a burnout when I was 19 years old. And now, around all of us in the Netherlands, more and more people experience burnouts. And what a burnout essentially is, what I think it essentially boils down to, is a lack of boundaries, a lack of expression, a lack of expressing your boundaries. And the reason why we need to set more boundaries within the system is because it will keep on asking from us. The system is about more and efficiency and development, and it is the system itself, it's not human. So it can't sympathize with people that they need, that they have needs, emotional needs. And people play by the rules of the system they live in, otherwise they won't survive. And most often it means financially, but for some people they feel like they won't survive socially because they wouldn't be a good fit for the company, which oftentimes is the truth. But us shaping ourselves to fit in all these little boxes where our boundaries are not even being heard, of course it leads to burnout and oftentimes even depression, if you dare to call it that. So this chapter talks a lot about this as well. Only recently recognized as an addiction, workaholism still receives a great deal of support in our society. The phrase "I'm working" has a certain unassailable air of goodness and duty to it. The truth is, we are very often working to avoid ourselves, our spouses, our real feelings. Play can make a workaholic very nervous. Fun is scary. Um, Fun leads to creativity, it leads to rebellion, it leads to feeling our own power, and that is scary. In order to recover our creativity, we must learn to see workaholism as a block instead of a building block. Work abuse creates in our artists a Cinderella complex. We are always dreaming of the ball and always experiencing the ball and chain. For a workaholic, work is synonymous with worth. A workaholic gets sober by abstaining from overwork. The trick is to define overwork. The trick is almost always to define everything again for yourself often. I've said it so many times and I'm going to say it again. We create our own realities. We can define everything around us consciously, intentionally. We can choose what anything means to us. Because for some people, overworking means working in the weekends as well as throughout the week. And for other people, overworking means staying at the desk during lunch. And for other people, overworking just means taking a call whenever you're not at work. Everyone lives in their own little bubble, and by listening to others and taking their truth as your truth, you'll make it so hard on yourself. You have to define where your own boundary is. What is overworking to you, and how often are you willing to do that, and why are you doing it? Are you doing it because you feel passion for what you're doing, or are you doing it because you actually just didn't want to deal with the emotions you have when you're alone and uneasy? There's always more work. You can always do more work, but do you ever just not? And do you still feel worthy when you're not working? Without having a job wherein people were praising me, that I looked like I was doing well and I was financially thriving, and losing that sense of worth. Within that difficulty, it gave me the opportunity to finally define my own worth again. Because cognitively, I knew for years, because of therapy, that my worth isn't tied to anything except for me just being. We are just worthy to be here. By just being and living life with an open heart, we add value to our surroundings anyways. The energy we carry when we're fine with ourselves, when we love ourselves, that radiates and it gives off to other people as well. That's more than enough. That's worthy enough. You don't have to add to the system you were born in just because you were born in that system. We are not nationalists by nature. We are loving humans though by nature. And it's easy to love what's around us. And it's nice. It is good to want to add value. It is amazing actually. We should keep on adding value, but you have to define what that means for yourself. Define your own worth again and again throughout your life. No one else will tell you. And you won't even believe others when they tell you you're worthy anyway. So don't be doing that shit. It was Plato. It was Plato. Plato. How do people say that? In is it, I think, Dutch? Plato, and I think in English Plato. Sounds stupid. It was him though who said the life which is not examined is not worth living. Time and time again, just stop for a second and observe yourself and redefine things and analyze why you live the way you are living. Do you still want that? When you feel something's off, don't you just want to like shake it up a bit? It doesn't have to be extreme like I am, even though for me it doesn't feel extreme to do this because I've been shaking things up again and again and again. I think I have been examining my life a bit too much over the last couple of years. I am trying to learn to just live and just create and just go with the flow. And I love every morning in my morning pages to examine my life to see, oh, was I doing that because it's just an automatic response, or am I doing it because I intentionally want to do it? And of course, every day might be a bit too much if you're just starting off. Just book one therapy session a month. Let someone help you, guide you. Therapy doesn't have to be to resolve traumas and be all that heavy. You can just have someone outside of your life have a back and forth with you to get to know yourself, to get to know why you think the way you think. Emotional intelligence is hot. It's hot. Meister Eckhart says, truly, it is in darkness that one finds the light. So when we are in sorrow, then this light is nearest of all to us. And this is just different words, but the same thing Albert Einstein said as well about opportunity and difficulty. Without the dark, there can't be light. It is in the darkest moment that we can look for the light, and we can feel so grateful that there is even light, and at the same time feel grateful that the darkness exists. You can't love without feeling grief. So when you feel a heartbreak or you grieve that you lose something, I am gonna feel a lot of pain for leaving everyone behind. But within that pain, I know I had love. Not had, I know I have love. It is the exact being able to feel both those things at the same time is the exact opposite of feeling flat and not feeling anything and feeling unbothered, and I think that existence seems so sad to me. I tried to live that way by smoking all day and not feeling my emotions because I was scared it was all too much. I feared the pain so much that I wasn't even able to feel the love as well. I just didn't allow myself to feel anything. And that was fine for the time being because it was too much, and just as I needed to get used to feeling the pain bit by bit, I needed to get used to feel the love bit by bit as well, because both of those were scary and both of those came at the same time as I expanded my range of being able to experience it. I have been talking a lot with my friends about how we'd rather feel so much pain and at the same time experience the full spectrum of all of the emotions that life offers than to not feel. We try to not let painful situations get the best of us. We don't want to turn off our emotions and become cold towards people who hurt us. We want to be able to always love fully and express our emotions, even when it hurts, even when the other person gets satisfied by us hurting, if that's even truly possible, because the other person has a whole spectrum of emotions too. I am so grateful that after everything that has happened to me and every emotion I had to feel and all of the darkness I had to sit in, I'm so grateful for all of that, because I now know that me being able to hold space for all of that in turn means that I am able to hold space for so much light and love. The one can't go without the other. I'm so excited for what's coming after all of those years struggling. Another part of the chapter is about fame. Fame is not the same as success. Fame is a spiritual drug. Fame, the desire to attain it, the desire to hold on to it, can produce the "how am I doing" syndrome. This question is not, is the work going well? This question is, how does it look to them? The point of the work is the work. Fame interferes with that perception. Yeah. What we are really scared of is that without fame, we won't be loved as artists or as people. The solution to this fear is concrete, small, loving actions. The only cure for the fame drug is creative endeavor. Only when we are being joyfully creative can we release the obsession with others and how they are doing. I think this counts for anything you do, any fear you have, or any desire you have. If you are fully immersed in creativity or within the flow of life or sports, whatever, if you're fully in the now and just living, you can release any obsession with others, comparing yourself, with feeling small, with wanting to have more, do more. The answer is almost always just be in the now. Sounds so simple, but sometimes really hard to. Another spiritual drug is competition. The desire to be better than can choke off the simple desire to be. Whenever you are angered about someone else beating you out, remember this. The foot race mentality is always the ego's demand to be not just good, but also first and best. It is the ego's demand that our work be totally original, as if such a thing were possible. All work is influenced by other work. All people are influenced by other people. No man is an island, and no piece of art is a continent unto itself. We are the origin of our art. Originality is the process of remaining true to ourselves. The ego wants instant gratification and the addictive hit of an acknowledged win. As an antidote, we must learn to approve ourselves. Showing up for the work is the win that matters. Yeah. Julia Cameron is hitting me with all these lessons. Like, of course, I know competition is not a pure driver for motivation, but understanding the depth in it and being humbled in the process is amazing. It is so humbling to know that your whole existence, it's not about us, it's not about you. It's humbling. It's it is it's- my brain is just exploded. At the same time, we're such unique beings, and my story is my story, but at the same time, my story can't be my story without other people. We're both individual and separate, but also at the same time, part of everything and all and everyone. Humbling, it's just humbling. So, it's good to be open about where your inspiration comes from and that you want to be like other people. It's good to have role models. And it's authenticity first. So originality is the process of remaining true to ourselves. So be influenced by others and at the same time learn about what others do. Always be a student and be open for new ideas and knowledge and whatever. But at the same time, you have to go on the identity journey. Who am I? What is important to me? It has to be balance. Be more like a Libra. Do both. Learn about yourself and learn about the world. Do both. Yeah. So the last quote of chapter 10 is by Lao Tzu. He who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is enlightened. Yeah. Take the time to learn about both. And the thing is, the outside world is a reflection of your inside world, anyways. There are so many ways to learn about yourself. And I've talked about writing a lot today, but I also love astrology. Astrology is such a nice way to learn about your own psyche. And people who don't believe in astrology, they just don't know don't know that much, because you shouldn't just say I'm a Libra, so everything in Libra is that is me. No, astrology is not just your one sign. You are every sign in an aspect of your life. In a way, you embody everything, as we are everything. So yeah, that's enough for today. Enough spiritual woo woo going on here on YouTube. I will continue as I do, and I hope to do week 11 and 12 soon as well, because I only have like 20 days left, and then I landed in Australia, which is so exciting. And if you want to see more of this crazy lady, go follow me on TikTok and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for just being you. You're so worthy. Even if you're not watching this video, bless everyone out there. Bless y'all. Okay, getting so awkward. Bye.